So thank you again, Alona, for joining me. I'm very happy to meet you second time or third time, I remember. Alona is our specialist and expert with psychology. She's a hematherapist expert, and I guess it's a cognitive behavioral therapy part of it, but you will explain it better in our session. I'm very happy to have these lives with girls, because for me it's a pleasure to meet them, because we are very good specialists, we are educated, and I like educated people. Maybe I just want to try to understand Alona better. Maybe I want to ask why yourself you decided to be a psychologist, why you chose this path for yourself. It's for me it's interesting to know that what is behind the person as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Inga. First, I want to say that I'm so happy to be part of this amazing project that collect and support women in a way that each of us feels special, in this project. So I'm so grateful to you for making these things happen. And why am I psychologist? Okay, I think the most important is that you cannot become really a psychologist just by scientific things. You have to feel that you can devote your life to the people, and it's kind of calling or mission that you feel inside you. Yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah, but I completely agree with you, because I tried to volunteer in like a psychology center just to see how it works for me. Like I wanted to help people as well. I'm a very empathetic person, and I tried to join the center myself to see where I can support girls. And for me, it was completely difficult. Like you said yourself, even I have this calling, but for me it was hard to cope with emotions, especially with the clients, because I go through myself, and for me it takes time to generate my own emotions and get out from the clients' problems,
and
disconnect. So that's why I think for how you cope with this connection and disconnection, I think as well is quite complicated in personal.
It is. It's not easy. Yeah. So my calling for psychology started a long time ago. Yeah. So my first degree, it's not a psychological. My first degree was I studied in US in Atlanta University for international marketing, where I believe that marketing it's still psychology, because somehow it's a social psychology. You create something that gonna affect a human.
Connect.
But yes, connect. And at the same time, I was taking lots of courses in psychology till the moment I really feel I was ready to step on it. And I will tell you something. It was 8 years ago now, 8 years ago. And since 8 years, I have never asked myself a meaning of life, or am I on the right path? I never, because I feel that when you are calling, yes, that I'm there. Yeah. So, and I will tell you, my calling for psychology became my ex-husband actually maybe awake this in me. And it was the reason why I started doing that. So there are lots of things, plus the person who is next to you in that moment.
Yeah, it's very good you said like the calling, because the calling now sometimes comes to my experience now. And for me, like, remember, I think when I try to join my project, I spoke about my trauma, that I had experienced miscarriage, and you told me like, still mom is your new baby. Remember you told me that. And for me, that new callings came, like you said, naturally through my experience. When Still Mom came, and I give so much attention like to Still Mom, and I'm very happy like girls are really joining this project. Like I really think it's needed in society, because to my personal trauma experience that I didn't receive at all. Like I always speak about it, I didn't receive attention, but it's true. I see other women, we suffer the same. I meet them on Facebook channels. We don't have this particular touch from doctors and so forth. That's why your contribution, like a specialist who joined this platform, is very welcomed, it's very needed, I think, in society, and I'm very happy that you joined this project, the same, like you said, to support our girls. So maybe let's see how it works. What is hematherapy, and how you contribute to this Still Mom project from psychological perspective? Because last time we spoke with Milana about yoga, how yoga contributes to the project of trauma. So how psychologically hematherapy can be incorporated into Still Mom project, and how girls can benefit from it?
Yeah, I want to start first with you mentioned now that we have our first meeting, and I remember that first meeting. It was around 1 year ago when you spoke to me about that, and I was so excited about it. Why? Because I also experienced miscarriage in my life, and for me, I totally understand what you were going through because I went through that. And right now, when I have this experience of grieving, of going through the pain of losing a home, of being someone that you want to be. I've got many clients who also experience that. So through the psychotherapy and of course related body work as well, because I believe that yoga and any kind of treatment that we have in order to go through the traumatic experience, we really need to start with the body, because trauma is embodied experience. It's something that happened to us through emotions and feelings we have as a response to that event. And sometimes we are thinking that trauma is war, is disease, is loss, is disaster, but actually real trauma happens as a reaction to that event. So we don't remember the event as it is. We remember some part of it that causes the trauma, right? And in general, people are sometimes misunderstanding that trauma, it's not the name for it, but it's actually a feeling that you're having while remembering about that.
Yeah, and it's very, like you said yourself, and it affects so much, you don't even know that some kind of particular event, I'm saying about maybe my past, like for me, psychology always been my core the topic in my experience, because I had a very traumatic childhood, so I had very traumatic raising, and for me, like psychology came very early, like when I was 15, like, so it's not like I'm trying to read books to self books as well. I joined psychotherapy, and I really urge girls to do that. It's good for yourself, and it benefits you as like understanding your emotions, like you said, because any experience is emotion.
And
how you react is again emotions. And like if you can't understand emotion, I think here is already your body reacts, your emotions reacts, and you are lost, It's my perspective.
Yeah, it's true what you say, because emotions lead our life.
Exactly.
And have you ever asked yourself why some people who experience trauma, they move on, but
some stuck?
Yes.
And I always like, even today we spoke with my friends, he's psychiatric, and I love topics about psychology, and I said to him, sometimes I go through this therapy, I treated myself, I think it's the best, like the best investment ever. It's like not to buy thing like Gucci, like I told you last time, Gucci or Prada makes you happy for 1 minute, but I think investment in your health, like psychology, is so important, just to make you happy long-term distance, And I always say to him, like, I feel like I've invested so much, but still I feel I'm stuck with this, And some people just move on and really like move on, and I'm like behind them, and I don't understand why, maybe it's different. Like you said, maybe every human perceives differently, even experience. Like for some it will be trauma. For some, it will be just, okay, it happened, I go forward. So why we react differently,
Nervous system. This is the answer. Our nervous system cope with the different situations, and different nervous system is unique. So for someone who is going through difficult experience in life, he has some resource, is his nervous system, to deal with that. And someone won't have this resource, and he gonna stuck in these ideas of the traumatic experience of losing a baby, and staying in this grief forever instead of moving on. Yeah.
Like I wanted to tell you, for some girls, they happen, like you said yourself, miscarriage happened and it happened, and they keep move on. Okay, you don't need to talk about it like me. I spoke about it 1 year. And I can't understand why I took it so personally, but my point. But I suffered on every level, not only psychologically. My body suffered. I lost lots of blood because it was already like a 8th or 9th week of a baby, So it was we already had to take them out from my body, from my body, and I experienced so much shock and my body shaking and everything, and like you said yourself, I was stuck in that situation over a year. And
Mhm.
my friends couldn't understand me. Like my friends, okay, they didn't suffer, some of them, this experience, but they couldn't understand why I can't move on. We like, okay, you have to move on. You have to go back to work. You have to, no, I was working, but still you have to cope with it. And they kind of pushed me to get out from these emotions. They tried to support me, I guess, how much we could, but I needed to have help, and help, it was external, like therapy, even
Yeah.
nutritionists and so forth. But like you said, it's more like my nervous system apparently is very sensitive, like you said
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, it's true what you say, because some people are stuck in a situation with a trauma because of some beliefs that they have around that. So if in cognitive behavioral therapy, let's start from cognitive behavioral
What is
therapy.
that?
Yes, and then I will explain to you about the schema therapy. How does it work with the trauma? So me as a psychotherapist in a cognitive behavioral approach, it's what basically cognitions, it's the way we think. Yeah,
Yeah.
behavioral, it's behavior. So the way we think affects our emotions, and because we feel certain way, we act certain way. So yes, as we call it, ABC model: activation, event, belief, and consequence, right? It's the base of the cognitive behavioral therapy. So each of us is a unique person. So Inga, have you ever wondered, for example, why 5 people will react on one thing in 5 different ways? Yeah.
I did, but from my perspective, it is more like we all unique. We have different
Yes.
social upbringing. I had my different parents. I had even education system. So like you said, it's how I was raised. Like it's very important to start even from that.
Yes. Yeah.
How was my childhood? How, like you said yourself, what belief was
Seeded. Yes.
seeded
Seeded. You conscious. Yeah.
into my brain, and how I started to develop as a human, I guess, from that side.
Yes, it's true, because what we say that we act in a way, the core beliefs we have.
Or
So
we act as our parents were acted.
yes,
You
yes,
know
of
my
course.
point? Like
Yes, yeah. It's about
modeling.
generation traumas and generation modeling. Yes, when we call, but in the core of us, we always have a core belief who we are, and dysfunctional core belief will be activated in the moment of the trigger. Let's say a woman losing a baby. One woman can think about herself, it's okay, it's not a mistake, it might happen, and I will be okay. I will This is the inner healthy adult that talk to her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some women will talk to her in a way, I'm a huge failure. All the women are getting pregnant and delivering babies, and I have no one, and I'm still getting miscarriages. This is the internal conversation of her healthy adult, right? That have inside her. And maybe some punisher that have inside her, yeah, the punitive punisher, right? And so these core beliefs, I see that inside us, and they've been activated during these dysfunctional situations. And some beliefs, they're around the world, around the people. So how we see the world: is the world a safe place? Is the world is the place of full of interesting people that collaborate with me, like you did a project and you get together the people, right? So is the world is about this, or the world is the place where I need to be careful with the dangerous people? So this is all affecting our core beliefs. Then we have a response on the trauma. We have a different responses, like have you ever seen hear freeze, flight, flee responses, where some of us will run.
Maybe, yes, I think I did actually. It was about the children who were not taught to run
Okay.
because we are frozen, and this is how the child tried to say, no, you have to run because it's danger, you have to run, and some of them freezing, and we can't run.
Yes. Yeah, it's this scientific
And I
project.
couldn't understand how it's worked because I always run.
Yeah, so look, the people have different approaches to trauma. When someone having a really difficult situation, he learned to freeze in this moment. So what these people are doing, for example, the trauma happened, the people are closing the windows, they are depressed, they're watching Netflix 24/7, they're
Eating ice
scrolling.
cream.
Yes, ice cream. They are processing the trauma. This is how their nervous system processing the trauma. Some people are fighters. Yeah, they go against the things. They are trying really to do something. It's
Yeah.
not action, it's really fighting, because their nervous system is on the border, on the scale. But some people, they're just like, okay, it's fine, I'm just gonna go through with this, I'm just gonna surrender to that. And sometimes it's also not good to surrender to trauma, right?
Yeah, because you
So
can be drowned in that for
yeah,
forever.
yeah, yes, yeah. So this is how our nervous system, we call it in different modalities of psychology as a different thing, but actually it's a freeze, fly, fight, and flee mode, where we are actually trying to cope with the trauma.
Yeah.
So in a cognitive behavioral therapy, we are trying to mentally, on the cognitive level, to track what is your beliefs about this situation, because each human is going to describe the situation, the meaning of the situation that it has in his own way,
Yeah.
from his own perspective. So your point can be different from mine, and someone else is going to be different, right?
There is
So
no right or wrong answer. You just how we process.
there is functional and
Yeah.
probably dysfunctional way of.
Yes, exactly. This I want to say, like, still there is right or wrong, because sometimes, like, you functional, you process, you go through that and you move on. But if you go and fight all the time, sometimes you can use all the resources and then don't think it will be beneficial in the long term.
Yes, yeah, it's true. It's true what you're saying, and there is a point of it. So when we have more functional ideas and more functional thoughts, it helps us to move on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and when we have more dysfunctional that are triggering this traumatic experience even more, it's really hard. I have my client who've been one of my clients who've been really suffering from few miscarriages in her life, even though she has a babies, and she still was suffering a lot about that. And all the time we were discussing it on the therapy till the moment, yes, till the ruminating about that.
Yeah, it's the same happened to me.
Yeah, till the moment she really radically accepted, you know a radical exception. It's a term of DBT. It's different type of therapy under the CBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, which say that you stop fighting with the reality once you radically accept things that happen to you and happening to you. Radically accept doesn't mean that you are going to just relax and not do anything about that.
I wanted to see what is radical acceptance. Okay, so I sit and like how you want me to achieve it. I sit, I wait, and that's it. My all actions, I don't need to do nothing.
No, radical exception is when you totally accept the situation that happened, but you are not saying fully yes to the situation. You're trying to change something. You have actions, but inside you accept the games, the rules of the game, the rules that are happening. So once you understand, yes, it's happened. Yeah, grieving is such an important part as well.
Yeah, that's I wanted to say the same, because if you don't grieve, again, it's you lock your emotion in the body, and again, it's not good for you. But
Yeah.
but acceptance is something new terminology. I never thought you have to accept.
Yes, without accepting, anything in life that is you're fighting with, you cannot really reach the point you want. So when the woman is experiencing this deep pain about her losing a baby, about her feeling that she didn't succeed, it's her fault and lots of things, it's all interpretation and cognitive problem.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
But the main point is radically accept the situation, which is not easy.
Why it's not easy. Trust me, you go through this fears of
Yeah.
and you
And,
understand.
and you do it together with your psychotherapist. You do it
Yes.
together because behind radical acceptance of what happened to you, there are lots of emotions.
Yeah, yeah.
There are lots of, as you said, grieving. And what is emotion actually for us as a humans? Emotions is a signals of the body that are signaling you that there is some value that you had that being lost. There is something that you was hoping for was lost. And that's why you have this inner pain inside you and grief to go through, to feel the value of it, of losing it even. Yeah. So emotions as a signal, because our body, our emotional nervous system doesn't have any other language. It's emotions.
Alona, how long I have to grieve? Like you said yourself, I think it's very individual experience. But okay, I lock myself 1 week, 2 months in situation when I cry, but I can't cry, 2 months in a row. Sometimes I need to go back to life anyway. You know my point. I need to start going socially again. I need to start my life again. I can't just stuck in this grieving process. So the best way is, again, I guess, to go to therapy and to process it together with your doctor. Because so what I'm trying to say, that if you try to do it by yourself, sometimes you are lost.
Yes. Yeah, it's true.
And you know my point. And sometimes like therapy, like people, I respect people who goes to this self-teaching books. They are very good. I'm very happy that people try now to go on this who I am, how I process all these emotions.
Mhm.
But sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes even self-book can't support you as much as therapy. So what is the time when I have to seek for therapist?
Oh, it's a good question. When you're not able to deal by yourself. And it's so hard to grieve without someone being a witness of your pain.
It's another one topic, because
Yes.
I'm sorry, because I read, because I went through therapy myself, and and I had one very good therapist. I had to change 5 of them. So the process to find your therapist is normal. You have to find your person. And when she started to this grieving process with me, she started, like you said, to witness it. So
Yeah.
witnessing together with me was the healing process. Like I read lots of Alice Miller books. She's very good as well psychotherapist. And without witnessing someone my grieving, healing will not be happening.
Yeah, it's true. This is exactly what you experience. It's really true, because in order for us to really go through the grieving process, we need to have someone to be next to us. And usually it's better if someone is your psychotherapist who really have empathy for you, who really understand you, who really can go through this process with you together, hand in hand. Then the process will happen much faster. And I always say to my clients who are losing the babies, and it's happening to lots of women, just women don't talk about that. And I'm so grateful for this project, who is actually, making things we are talking about that, and it's normal, and it's nothing shameful about it. We are all humans.
Breaking the ice, we're trying to break the ice in society's mentality, because like you said, we have to talk about it and normalize this topic, because women are suffering quietly, and
Yes.
I felt that, and I felt very bad. I thought, oh my God, we are 21st century, we have so much rights for women, we have so much fought for this voting rights, but still woman is not feeling secure even in this generation, because this topic is still some kind of taboo.
Yeah. So that's why what you are doing in this project, we are doing, we're trying to say that nothing shameful. It's a process of life. And without this process, we are not growing as well. And the most important that I always say to my clients who are going through this process, so it's actually about any process, right? When we have this grieving, we need sometimes to be with this feeling. It's so important, right? How long? It's very individual, but
Yeah.
imagine that you have a cake with the different layers. Yeah, you have different layers. So imagine that part of your life is grieving. Yeah. And you dedicate some time for the grieving. You dedicate. Now I'll come back to that. It's very important. The second layer is your family, because you might have kids and a husband. The second layer, it's your job, your hobbies, your house. So you cannot lose it all and just grieve all the time.
What I want trying to tell you, how is the best process of grieving, because you can't just disconnect yourself from social life. You know my point?
Yes. You definitely need to be ready to go and socialize again. But there is a point that some people, they don't want to talk about that because it's something personal, right? So you need to really process it by yourself with psychotherapists inside the family, which is okay. But imagine that the life is like a cake, layer cake that have different, and they're just parallel. You
Yeah.
cannot just grieve all the time, because the grieving become a clinical depression. And it's so important to remember that certain grief might go into the clinical case. So what is important is to give yourself a time for grieving. But I think it's later on the stages, because once it's happened, each of us is very individually going into this process.
You don't even think about, you just cry like
Yeah.
automatically, you know, it's
Yes. Yeah. And it depends how long each of us crying. It depends on the traumatic things that happen to us, right? If you
yes.
lose lots of blood, which stages of development of the baby you lost the baby. Yeah. So there are lots of conditions. But the most important is that on the later stages, you still grieve, and you can dedicate 15 minutes of your time a day. 15 minutes of your time a day to think about it, to cry about it, to let all the emotion that you currently experience and let out, and then go back to life.
Like you said, you see, like at least every day, 15 minutes, you have to
Yes.
find a time. And
Yeah.
15 minutes is already enough. Not like, of course, it's like depends case, but at least 15, you know, dedicate at least like some you said.
Yeah.
Give
This technique comes from Robert Leahy. He's a very famous psychotherapist that was himself grieving a lot. And in his psychotherapy, he has lots of clients who were coming to him, and, it was about grieving, losing someone, not having what they want. So it was a whole constant process of, having this relationship with this emotion. So he
oh,
started, he did this amazing technique of 15 minutes per day, just grieving, 15 minutes a day. Give yourself this time, set this time every day, like let's say 6 p.m., 6 to 6:15. I'm closing my phone, I'm closing my life, I'm closing everything around me, and I just cry for what happened to me. 15 minutes pass, we open
nice.
curtains, yes, we start doing things that we need to do in life. And this is how the grieving process will come more in a natural way and functional way for you. Because behind this emotion, there is a big, big value for what you want to achieve in life.
Yeah, I think consistency again, you know, like when you give your nervous system that I will go back to you and I go back to your emotions, you give to your system like I noticing you, I hear you, I will grieve and I will come. So I think that is you give yourself validation,
Yeah,
and it's not like you pushing you from inside, like I want to get out, you know, you said,
yeah,
okay, 15 minutes every day, I promise I get back to you and I will relive this experience. And I really like what you said, you have to have this relationship with emotion,
yes, it's true.
because I have one book, I don't remember who wrote it, it was the dancer with the anger, something like that.
Mhm.
It's, I guess it shows you that there is no bad or good emotions, it's just like anger, grief,
Yeah,
any emotion is
yeah.
emotion, and you have, like you said, you have to find a way to communicate with that.
Yes, it's true. And as you know, as a children, we are not really
Trained.
um,
Thoughts.
raised in an environment where our mom or dad will tell us, oh, you experience anger. What are you sad about? Because anger, it's a secondary emotion. Underneath the anger, there is frustration. There is maybe sadness. There is something that we are grieving about. And anger can be response on that underneath. It's like a peak of the iceberg, but underneath there is lots of other emotions. So we have a primary emotions and the secondary emotions, and our relationship with that is so much different from each of us and makes our life in a different way meaningful.
Yeah, but it's very good what you said, because in our post, like how we trying to post every time, every week, the topics, we always try to put emotions and try to explain emotions. This is how we're trying to,
Yes.
like you said, it's lots of layers. And
Yeah.
why we are doing that, just to make sure that when I suffered miscarriage, I had like lots of emotions. I didn't know how to process it. I was so lost, and I think that helped me. This technique, like you said, to break emotions into
Categories. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's why when you are working with a person who is in cognitive behavioral therapy, you're trying to show him that while working, that this is what you feel. But what was the first? What do you think was the most strongest one? Fear or anxiety? Grief or sadness? And then the person, the client, is understanding that not everything together. We have a primary emotions and we have a secondary emotions. And you know very well that some people are really struggling to process it because they have this belief about emotions. By the way, humans, they have strong belief about emotions. Some of them, they might have, oh, if I'm gonna think about it, it's gonna last forever. I'm gonna stop crying all the time, right?
I totally agree with you, because like this belief, I never thought I had so many belief system from my parents, you know, and later, and I'm like, oh my God, it's not even who thinks that way, me, but my mom thought that way. But she put this into my brain that I sometimes reacting like my mom in certain situations, not even Inga. And
Yeah.
so my question now is again to you, how we can change that belief system, because you don't sometimes act like Inga, you act sometimes like your Inga father, Inga mother, and you
Yeah.
sometimes lost what is Inga.
Yeah. It's such a great question because, when I meet my client, I don't meet only him or her. I meet the whole family behind him. So there are lots of shades that this person has, right? The parts that this person have. So how do we develop different beliefs about our emotions, right? So most of my clients, many of them, right, they have very some of them, they have amazing connection to their emotions, right? They learn, some of them, yes, but most of the clients who come into the therapy, and it's the beginning of the therapy, they are very gentle and anxious about experiencing certain emotions because behind that they have a belief. And some of them, they think it's going to last forever. If I start thinking about my miscarriage now, I will not be able to function. That's why I better avoid it and go into the work and never experience it. And maybe after 20 years, I'm going to experience that. But
Yeah,
as we know, something that is not processed is going to come out anyway, right?
even double.
Even double, exactly. And your body will experience that. So we start with changing the beliefs about emotions and how. First, on a cognitive level, we understand first what person think about grieving, what person think about sadness, what person thinks about anxiety, right? And then we start together on the session experiencing these emotions. So the person on a body language, on the body level, will understand that it's safe. Nothing is happening. And maybe between the sessions, the client's going to have the situations where he will experience fear or sadness or frustration. And he will have some techniques of experiencing this emotion. So his subconscious level, his brain, the most important, right, will understand, okay, safe for me to experience that emotion. I can try again. For example, my client who was not having a very good relationship with anxiety because she was anxious, and every time she feel anxious she tried to block, avoid, but still after sometimes it's even bigger anxiety, right?
Yeah.
So when we start experiencing the situation expositions, right, where we feel anxiety and our brains understand that, oh, okay, now I can be here feeling anxious, just breathe, nothing happening. The next level we increasing, and the brain learns that he survived, because for the brain the most important is to feel safe. Yes, to feel safe. Once the brain experience different situation, he has a response.
That is another question, a very good one, because this is Alona how the healing starts. You know, you have to trust your doctor unconditionally. Because when I started my therapy, with some of them, I couldn't cry. I feel ashamed of myself. I couldn't open up, and only with one doctor, the healing started when I completely trusted her. Like I completely could cry with her. I didn't feel ashamed. I didn't afraid that she'll saw me. Like because I felt very how to say
Vulnerable.
vulnerable and
Yes.
even like not worth of her time. I don't know. My brain was like that. So till I found the safety with a doctor, it
Yeah.
took me time. So how
Yeah.
you find this connection with your clients, because I think it's a long process to find it. You know my point.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And if you talk to any psychotherapist, and if you read any book about psychotherapy, the first thing that make really good therapy is therapeutical alliance with the client. So if you have a bad therapeutical alliance, which means trust, yeah,
Yeah, that's a trust.
trust. If you have bad, but you have all the techniques, it won't work.
Yes, that I wanted to tell you. Yes.
The most important is therapeutical alliance. What is therapeutical alliance, right? It's why, for example, Inga, my question to you, why suddenly you felt so open to be vulnerable in front of that psychotherapist? Why? What happened in your relationship with her?
Yes, I'm trying to remember now, because some doctors tried to provoke me. They tried maybe to get emotions out of me, and I didn't like it, because for me it's not. That's the point. You see, some already doctors tried their methodology, and with them it didn't work, because if one tried to provoke me, for me it was completely like back up. I just didn't want to be with me. I remember I just run away from the session. Another was, I kind of felt like she doesn't understand what I'm even trying to say, like I'm trying to say something like how I felt, and she responded completely different something. And I didn't, it's not like we have methodology, but I felt she doesn't understand it on that emotional level.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
that doctor, like, she was completely different. She was like, she didn't push me, she didn't ask me questions, she just stayed with me in the silence.
You
And
see,
different
yeah,
methodology. She
yeah,
just waited how I react. And I was like, okay, now nobody worked with met before.
mhm,
And
mhm,
she waited till my reaction starts. And I remember we waited 15 minutes and we didn't speak.
mhm,
And I was thinking, okay, what is going to happen later? And after that, she was kind of asking, okay, how do you feel now? And we tried to speak. Okay, I don't feel secure with you, and I felt that I don't feel secure. I'm trying to see whether I can trust you, but she waited like that patiently. She didn't provoke me. She didn't push me to receive an answer, and I think that she tried to create that security and secure environment when I could layer by layer start
mhm.
to open up with her.
Yeah, and it's very, very amazing way of opening up, right, and doing things because Carl Rogers, one of the greatest psychotherapists, he was using silence as the way to open up the person.
This was his
Yeah.
mythology.
Yes, it's a
You
methodology.
know? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, because in this silence you can just exist there. Because we usually what we're trying to quickly put
Connect.
connect. Yes, we're trying to do something with it, and it's a problem of lots of psychotherapists as well because they are not they're so vulnerable to be in the silence.
That is another one. Some people are afraid of silence, like you said yourself.
Mm-hmm. Some people are afraid of silence because when you're silent, it feels uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
But the silence can actually open up lots of things in the psychotherapy. So your psychotherapist did some amazing thing that opened up in you. She didn't judge you. She didn't question you. She was just there for you. And she was waiting for you to open up in this environment, in this space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if we come back to the how the therapy will go in the right way is when the psychotherapist will be attuned to the needs of the client, to the needs, and not pushing his protocol, because we have a protocols, right, in psychotherapy, how this treating, how we treat anxiety, how we treat depression, how we treat lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
But we are all the time meeting an individual with his own needs, that
Yeah.
we can apply this protocol only after establishing the strong therapeutic alliance. And I meet lots of clients who have sometimes they trust you from session one. They trust you, yeah, and it's very rare. But most of the people, because you have such a unique relationship, therapeutical relationship, it's a unique
Yeah.
relationship. If you remember your therapeutical relationship with your psychotherapist, you remember that none of the relationship in your life will be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Not with mom and dad, not with your partner, with no one. It's a unique because you have unconditional trust,
Yeah.
you have empathy, you have validation, and you have acceptance. And if someone will find that psychotherapist who really, where they feel unconditionally accepted and sometimes even loved, because without
Yeah.
loving a human, you cannot really dedicate, your time and your effort. If you're just doing it for the sake of some other reasons, it doesn't work. You need to, it's a calling that each of us.
I wanted to say to you, like some people like use techniques, but they don't have a calling, like I don't care about how you feel. I just want to go through protocol, my thing, and the healing will never happen. But with the doctor, I felt like she genuinely cares about me.
Yeah.
And before, I never had this genuine care, even from my parents, because I told you my parents were very abusive time. I suffered very abusive childhood, and I never felt this security even from my family. And from me was already shocking. Like, okay, she's like no one to me, and she genuinely cares how little Inga, feels, how you Inga little process the
Yeah.
situation,
Yeah. Yeah.
and for me was like, oh my god, why she even cares, even my parents don't care, and like you said, it was such a unique relationship because I couldn't speak like that openly with not on my friends, like some of friends were quite close to me. I speak with lots of topics, but with her was different relationship. Like you said yourself, I come
Yeah.
1 hour, I stay with her, I know what I will open up about all my wounds. I feel secure, no judge,
Yeah.
no nothing, and I remember like today when I used to go home, I used to cry a lot in the therapy. We
Hmm.
used to cry like 1 hour. One time I just cried. I remembered 1 hour just was crying. I was
Mhm.
crying nonstop. I couldn't even speak processes. And I remember I came home and I just slept.
Yes.
Like
I'm so
slept.
tired.
I was so tired from this therapy that I thought, oh my God, if we continue like that, and it was, I remember, maybe second or third session. And for me, that's why I asked you how long this treatment lasts, because I think every treatment is unique. And
Yes.
for some clients needs particular time. So my treatment was quite long. I spent at least 2 years, I think, with her.
Hmm.
It was long therapy because, like I said, like my therapy was not only about miscarriage, but I guess it's opened up a lot of wounds on my family, and the treatment started from different angle. And it was completely like such a different journey to rediscover myself, rediscover my family, rediscover my miscarriage, rediscover everything, my personality. That's why it took me 2 years. But I guess it doesn't, it's case by case basis. Yes, Alona, if someone suffers miscarriage, it doesn't need to go through that 2 years treatment, because some people are afraid to start therapy, like they think if I start,
Yeah.
it's never finishes.
Yeah, yeah. And it's also belief. It's a dysfunctional belief because your case can be unique and you can experience and you can grieve about that maybe 1 month, 2 months. Maybe you think we'll finish in one session where you think, okay, I know, I understand now, and I'm going to go and try in different way. Yeah. So if we go back, for example, to schema therapy, because we yet haven't started talking about schema therapy, that it was amazing how we discussed the emotions and cognitive behavioral therapy, and I just want to lead the topic to schema therapy. Yes, so you will understand what is that. Yeah. Schema therapy, it's, as I explained to you, is the branch of cognitive behavioral therapy. And you see the word schema. Schema is like a program.
Yeah, the program. Yeah, I wanted to find
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, all of us, we have different schemas. What is schema? It's your unique way of responding to the certain unrealized or unfulfilled needs in your childhood. So you develop. So what is our needs, right? It's unconditional love, acceptance, value, playfulness, creativity. It's our needs as a human. We need to, in order to develop, we need to stay playful. In order to be playful, we need to be supported, right, as a kids. And if those needs are not met, we develop certain schemas. So schemas can be schema of defectiveness, for example, right? Defectiveness schema might be active when the woman is experiencing the miscarriage. Why? Because somehow she starts thinking about herself that something wrong with me.
Not good enough.
Yes, I'm not good enough. Exactly. So you are starting developing different coping mechanism to deal with this schema. There are three main coping mechanisms, and we say yes. Overcompensation is like, I will prove everyone that I'm not defective. I'm gonna do more than any average person, and this is what will make me feel perfect. And this is where perfectionist comes, right? The other person will feel that, okay, maybe if I start going to these places, I might be facing some people who are better than me, and I don't want to feel defective. So better I will stay home and avoid those places.
Confrontation.
Yes, I avoid that to feel safe. Yeah. And some people, they really surrender to schema. Surrender in a way they will, okay, I'm defective, so what? Okay, I'm gonna be like this, and I will prove everyone that nothing is happening good in my life, and I'm a big failure. Yeah. So, and also behind every schema, we have different modes. So it's like, have you ever noticed that you have some different voices in your head? Like sometimes it's a critical voice. Oh, Inga, you haven't done it right. You should have done it better.
Yeah. This shouldn't. I should have done it better. It's from my childhood.
Yes.
To get noticed from my parents.
Yes. Why did you bring this grade? You're a bad girl, right? You should have brought a different grade.
Oh,
Yeah.
your brother got 7, 8, or 10, or you got 6.
Exactly.
This
And
comparison.
yes, and this is where the person starts, talking.
Scammer.
Yes. So this is where the schema get activated. That's something wrong with me. And your critical voice that comes now when you are 30, when we are 40, right? It's from where? It's integration of your parents' voice, of someone who was telling you this. Your critic mode is inside your head, explaining to you what is wrong with you. But now it's not your mom voice, it's not your dad voice, it's your own voice integrated inside you. Yeah. So there are different modes, as we call it vulnerable child mode, a lonely child, emotional child. We have modes of soothing protector, of different really modes that are trying to say something to us. So when the woman is experiencing, you remember you were asked by your psychotherapist, how is little Inga doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is how is vulnerable child is doing. Are you taking care of your vulnerable child? What is his needs? So we are talking not to schema, we are talking to different voices, different shades of inside you that are
Mhm.
actually representing your pain. But we have two modes that they are healthy modes. So it's healthy adult, the adult that is talking to me right now, and I'm talking to you in a healthy adult without my vulnerable Alona or little Alona. She's in a different place, yeah. And a happy child mode where we experience that life fully. Sometimes we play, sometimes we create what you do in your project, right? So this is what we need to really increase in the therapy. Healthy modes, healthy adult mode and happy child mode. And the other one we have to regulate. We have to know them and know how to communicate with them. And each of us need to know their schemas, because
That I wanted to ask you. Okay, so how to understand whether I am under the schema now or whether I am under my normal personality? You know my point. How to recognize whether schema is activated.
oh
I
yes, yeah. So schema active in a certain triggers. So schema doesn't work. Like for example, if we talk right now, if you tell me something or I tell you something, okay, now we're in a different relationship. But if we were just like sisters and I trigger you, your schema might be active. So how you know your schemas?
yeah
When my clients come to me, first I have a session with them. I'm guessing and having some hypothesis about
yeah
what is happening, right? And then I give a certain questionnaire to them, a test that show me exactly which schemas this person
yes
has. Yeah. Which schemas are dominant and less dominant, right? And then we discuss that together. And then we talk, okay, so your schema of abundance, where did you felt certain way when you were left alone, and how did you start coping with that, and what was happening to you, right? So we identify the schemas through the questionnaire and through the test, as well of the observation, and we talk about that, and we heal first, not the schemas but the modes which are behind the schemas, like a vulnerable child mode, the personalities that you have basically.
yeah because my question was can that schema be treated or healed? uh, can it? Yeah, because like my friend always talks about this schema therapy because he's a psychiatrist in Switzerland, and he always talks about this schema therapy. And for me, it doesn't say anything. Schema therapy, okay, so maybe it's some kind of childhood, like you said, behavior and so forth. And he says schema therapy would help you. Okay, so how it will help me? It will heal my certain behavior, and I will get from you tools how to navigate that schema therapy, or it disappears naturally after our treatment. How does it work?
Mm, okay, yeah. So I will explain to you now. It's a good question because nothing really can disappear. Okay. So the healing of any schema and any traumatic experience start from consciously realizing what you are having, what you're facing. Because most of the people, they walk in life without really understanding, why am I behave this way? Why do I react to the certain situations? They don't realize until they come to the therapy,
Okay.
and then we show them consciously, they understand, and then they start seeing it and reacting in a different way. So the first step for the trauma is consciously understand what happened to you and seeing these patterns in life. And once we put the light on this light, there is a light that you put in your life on this behavior, then you can change it. How?
Yes, wanted to see to change. I rewrite myself. I starting as a new
Yeah.
person.
Okay, so look, very interesting. In schema therapy, we have some technique called rescripting, imagery rescripting technique, which help us change not the situation. We go back with the client to the situation, which help us change the emotional experience of the situation. And have you ever heard about EMDR as well? Yes, EMDR therapy.
Yeah, I think I did, but you know, that's the point. For me, psychology is such a broad terminology
Yeah.
because every doctor, like that's why for me it took time to find because every methodology is different.
Yes.
You work with schema therapy, my doctor worked not with schema therapy. We work only to,
Psychoanalysis, maybe.
it's more like recognizing my emotions and working with my inner child to
Uh-huh.
grow up.
Maybe emotional focus therapy. Yes.
Something like that, but never
Mhm.
worked with this schema therapy. It's
Yeah.
different for me topic at all, you know?
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's scientific based, and so rescripting. It's something that we do with the client about his traumatic experience that lead him to start this reacting certain way, and where the schema start developed, right? So we go back there and we rescript the whole story, and we do this several times. It's a special technique. It's you need to prepare the client for that. It's not from the first session. You need some
Also,
time. Yeah, you need some time because you need to go back, imagine, to that painful experience, not alone, but with your healthy adult, with your current yourself who can already have a support for you, that time for that little girl who experienced the trauma. So rescripting is a very powerful technique that help you to change the emotion. And the way when we can change our emotional structure of the situation, we can heal the trauma. Not fully, because trauma is the wound.
yeah, I wanted to say it's always in you, you know, you always have it.
But at the beginning of the therapy, some clients, when they react on a trauma, they say, I hate this part of myself. I don't like that. When I see that the trauma being healed is when the person starts accepting that part. It starts seeing a benefit even from this trauma, that nothing good is happened, but still she survived and she managed that. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's a wound, but the approach to that wound is different.
different.
Yeah, is different. So schemas can be treated in a way that they can be recognized, they can be acknowledged, and we can find a different, more functional way to deal in certain situation when this schema get activated.
Now I have another question. Imagine like I'm your client and maybe I will have lots of schemas. So again, my question is, do I need to go through this therapy 20 years to rewrite every schema?
No, no. You will have, for example, we have around 21 schema, right?
Ah, you see, you
Yeah.
have some kind
Yeah.
of
20, yes, we have no, we don't have 1 million schemas. So we have,
yeah, you know, I thought maybe I have 1 million, so now I have to go back to my childhood again
yeah.
so it will take my 20 more years to go back to my childhood, you
Mm.
know?
So in the therapy, we have this test with the result, and then we discuss what will be. First, you usually come to the therapy with some kind of goal that you want to reach, right?
Yeah, I wanted to say the same. Still, when you go to the therapy, you know why you're going, you know,
Yeah,
like
exactly. You have a goal, and then you decide with your psychotherapist what is your goal for your therapy. Like it's not just random talks, right? You
yeah,
have a goal, and you follow that. And once you did the test questionnaires and we discuss about schema therapy, I show the most vulnerable parts for the client. And then we discuss, is this goal can be related to this schema, that I probably will understand what is related, and I will help the person to really see it, and then we start working on that. So we don't need to work on all the schemas.
yeah,
In order for us to really resolve some situation or some question that we have for the therapy, is to work maybe on 1, 2 schemas, and some schemas can be primary, some secondary. So the most important for me, my client needs to become his own therapist. Yeah. So what I'm teaching at the end, also during the sessions, the way that the client is treating himself
yeah.
without me.
Yeah. I think that will be the goal of every therapist because for me, okay, Alona, how long were your the longest therapy lasted with one person? Like for example, like me, I lasted 2 years. How long was your client working with you?
You know, I have clients who come into the therapy with a special request, with a special goal, and we work, let's say, few months up to 1 year. And then, you know, some clients, I don't want to keep people on coming all the time to me, and we need to work on something,
That's
right?
the point. I wanted to tell you because I have my friend, she goes to therapy 10 years. And for me, it's not funny. And I said to her, I think it's not anymore a therapy. I think it's more like already some kind of priklausomybė, how to say in English? Wait, addiction, you know?
Dependence, yes, dependence.
Dependence. Yes, I said it's not anymore a treatment. I see it's even a red flag, you know?
10 years, yeah. Well, if there are certain situations, I think it's we all the time gonna have some problems, right? Yeah, and we need some professionals to help you in this program, in these problems. We don't need to be all by ourselves, even if we had 2 years therapy. My clients have me after finishing the therapy. They have contact to me if they need to come and discuss something. And maybe they have some traumas that been activated and they need to restart therapy for 1-2 months on this subject. Because one of my clients, she was with me in the therapy for 1 year, and then she was 8 months of the therapy, and then suddenly she started getting a really bad symptoms of the depression that she developed. And we restarted the therapy for 2 months. Now I told her, now you're ready to deal it without me. You have all the tools and keys to yourself, and I let her go. And actually today, after 3 months, she come with a new story that she would love to discuss with me, and maybe we'll take 1 or 2, 3 sessions. So she has me as her therapist who knows her already very well, and she doesn't need to start from beginning. This is important because we have such a strong therapeutical alliance with her. So I don't keep the clients because I want them to function. I'm teaching them to function without me. But if they need me, they always, yes, they can always text me and tell me, Alona, we need to see.
Section. Yeah, I know, because I know some kind of my friends, we return once per month. Just to check in, you know, something to check in, to check out. So we come once per month. If something is needed, not needed. And like you said, if needed, we start something else. Not, we just let it go.
Yeah.
And so it's like normal for me would be the same. Not to be stuck with a doctor, because for me it's very scary, like dependency. I'm afraid of it, you know.
Of course, you know, but the cycle, I see when the person is dependent. And yes, I see when the person is dependent, and I have those that's clients, they come, but then I minimize things because these people, they want you more and more and more, and then they can function without you. So it's so important to really see that. And it's a basically professional of
ethics.
Yes, ethics, exactly.
Yeah.
Of the psychotherapist. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's I'm just checking because already I was speaking an hour, you know.
Great.
Yeah. So okay, so for example, maybe my question will be from a client perspective. If I'm going for a Still Mom project, an open psychology session, we can have Alona, we have Madalina, we have Mora, we have other psychologists. How to know again what is best for me, what works for me, which should I choose? You know, even psychology, like it's such a broad, like you work with schematherapy, I guess, like our psychologist works different. How to know which methodology works best for me?
Yeah, I think we are humans with some intuition. We really feel all the girls are great in our projects, honestly.
I mean,
you choose amazing girls.
Yeah, I have this intuition, and I'm really like, I'm saying this project, like some of them saying how to know which expert is good. We are all good. We have all the educations. We are all qualified. We have licenses. We are all, you know, certified. I wouldn't be afraid to visit all of them, you know.
Yeah, but the most important, I think, is to feel your psychotherapist, because as you said, you were through 5 of them, and you really needed to find yours. And you are so lucky if you find yours. You feel that instantly. But sometimes I want to say, sometimes psychotherapist can give you some different emotions,
Vibe.
yes, that you are not familiar to experience. You know what I mean? For you, it's a growth, can be as well. So yeah, for you it's a growth because sometimes we are not familiar with the experience. Sometimes we feel irritation towards the psychotherapist
So I
because
had that. I told you I had one. Even I had such a huge irritation, but I just couldn't be in that room. I just,
yeah,
it's not gonna work because
yeah. So if I were your therapist, have your therapist saw this irritation?
that's the thing. I think like when how our therapist worked in my country, I was in Lithuania. You know, we had this I think 15 or 30 minute session. Yeah,
15?
I think 30. I don't remember now, but I think 30 was just to see whether we working.
Yeah. Hmm.
So we have you book the session 30 minutes and you see whether it's working or not. If it's little bit working, you still go to 1 or 2 sessions
Hmm.
in practical and you see if it's working. If it's not working, so you stop it and you say sorry, it's not working, or you keep continuing. But I think one session was for me for free.
Hmm.
It was 30 minutes, and second was I had to pay. Another one I had to pay, but after 2 or 3, I stopped naturally. You know, I said no, it's not gonna work
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't.
You can understand your therapist. Why, what is important is we are subconsciously attracted to the people with the same values.
That I wanted to tell you. You have to have you just feel what is dragging to one person. You know.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
like I think even Sigmund Freud said that particular
Attracts particular experience. Yeah.
and you can understand and heal that patient because some psychologists who had not experienced that trauma through their lives we will never can help the client who's going through because he understands it because he has been through that. Not
It's
all the time, not all the
true.
time, but
Yeah.
it's not like on theoretical level, but on practical, you know how he's going through because you've been through that.
Yeah, it's a deeper experience.
Yes.
But in order to treat a cancer patient, the surgeon doesn't need to be sick with the healed with
Oh,
the
I
cancer.
know, especially I'm afraid of this who are still sick and we go to treat sickness, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What I mean that all of us we have traumas, all of us.
Okay.
Yes, all of us. We are raised by the parents, so we all have traumas. But when we choose our therapist, we need to feel if this person, if I wanna learn something from her, and it's internal feeling that I want to be something, I want to feel like her, I want to be like her. This is like internal thing where we want really that person to affect our life. And
I can learn from you how to control my emotions. For example, I can see you a strong pattern.
exactly, because for example, you were saying about irritation.
Yeah.
Maybe that psychologist who see you irritated, she hasn't respond in a certain way to make you stay, because it's an art to experience the client emotions, because the emotions of the client can be ugly as well sometimes,
Oh,
right?
yes, yes.
Yeah. And
Especially with,
sometimes they can be towards you. It's not towards you, it's towards her mom or towards her dad, but they're towards you this moment. And if you, as a psychotherapist, can deal with that, can stand, can really have empathy and ask a question of their client, is that emotion that you're expressing right now, what is it talking to you about? Because I feel as well certain way. We can also express how we feel as a therapist.
that's the thing, you see, I never felt that from my doctor because my doctor was like more superior. I felt from him, from not my but my from
Yeah,
peer. I felt from him like he's in superior position and he tries to provoke me and never be on the same, you
yeah,
know.
yes, on the same level. And in schema therapy and CBT, in cognitive behavioral therapy, we have this partnership where we are in the same level. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to be with you and witness your things.
Pain
Yes.
or
Yeah, but I'm not here to give you different advices. I'm not here to teach you.
Like
I,
mother, father, like me and my mom and father, and
yes,
they try to teach me, and I don't want to be taught, I want to be like you said, maybe I want to learn from him. I'm okay with that because he has experience and knowledge, and I'm happy for that. I just want from him to explain my certain behavior, like you said, why I'm acting certain way,
yeah, yeah,
and I want his authority and knowledge. I don't mind, but not like you have to listen now. I would like to have a dialogue with my doctor, and I had with my doctor. That's why it worked very well.
yes, yeah, yeah. Whenever we felt
Yeah,
understood,
and
we
this.
felt more open. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just one. We're already finishing. Just my mind came up with this nervous system. Is it okay to be sensitive? And whether do I need to change my nervous system or just I need to accept my nervous system? You know my point?
Yeah, so sometimes people you mean are sensitive, they're emotional, they're more sensitive than others, right?
Exactly. And sometimes we are afraid of that sensitivity, like, oh, it's my nervous system. I'm okay, but I don't need to change my nervous system. It's the way how I am, I guess.
Yes, it's yeah, and if we all come to the beliefs about what we think about ourselves. Yeah, if you are as a child, the girl who as a child who were sensitive, and every time her father was talking to her, or she was afraid and she started crying, and then the father was telling her, "Oh, why you are acting like a little girl?" Yeah, and when she grew up, she's still having a husband already who is treating her this way, and everyone thinks that she's weird because she's experiencing this. So it all comes from again from yes, nervous system, the way we respond to the things, but at the same time how I treat myself, how I get used to the people who are treating me this way. So if I change this as my uniqueness, actually, as the way I can be more sensitive, I can feel happiness, I can feel sadness deeper than other people, and not see in this problem, but see it as a gift. See it as a gift. I had actually a client who was with me in this the therapy for with a general anxiety disorder, and she was very sensitive. She was crying all the time with the people, with me. Like she'd been emotional, and the moment she started accepting herself as an emotional, as introvert as well, because she was introvert and she was not accepted in the society, plus she was sensitive, then things become changing. Again, we come back to the radical acceptance of the things the way they are.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What I like about you as well, Alona, because again, all the therapists here are very good educated, but you as well train, like continuously training on the psychology.
Yes,
Because
yes,
remember last time we spoke with you, you were in Oxford, and I was like, what?
yes,
She's in
yeah, yeah,
Oxford.
yeah.
So are you
Yeah.
upgrading your knowledge? You invest in that?
Yes, I am. I think, I really have my deepest value here in my career as helping people, and I can see the change. And sometimes you don't realize that, you're changing the destinies of the way the humans are relating to the world. And that's why, learning new things, I love it. And some people think, I don't know, when are you going to stop doing that? I was like,
Mhm.
never, because I really love it. I really love what I'm doing. And I think my clients, they feel it because I do it from my heart. Yeah. And yeah, Oxford was about trauma therapy.
Oh,
And yeah, it's about trauma therapy. And the teachers were absolutely amazing. And there are lots of techniques and embodied therapy and cognitive therapy and lots of things that accumulated in one subject. So me as a part of your project, I think I can dedicate all my knowledge to that and share it with the women who are suffering it, because sometimes it's not only suffer of the woman, it's a suffer of the whole system and the whole family. That
generation.
generation, yes. And I work as well with the couples who are going through this process, so it makes me understand deeper on what is actually the whole family is going through, because losing baby, it's the whole system is collapsing.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is where you need to hold them together. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we said the same in our project. We don't want to exclude man because man is going through the same experience as a woman, sometimes even as well sensitive topics. And when the client come to you, you can accept couples, correct? Like you can
Yes, yes, it's true. Yes, I can accept couples. We need to work as a couple in some point. Yeah.
exactly, yeah, because for me it's like this project is like Still Mom is not is for women, yes, oriented to women, but however, like when said, we want to accept man who is participating in women's world and to support him as well as a family is for us very important. Okay, so thank you very much, Alona. We already exceeded our 1 hour topic. It was very interesting to talk with you. I learned a lot as well. I hope our audience learned as well.
Yes.
We
And if anyone have any comments, I am,
commented, yes,
yes,
right with
please.
us. We are open to any questions. We will publish our event in our YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you want to listen for more, because our aim is to introduce more and more specialists, more and more topics that the women are going through. And we will share in our reels just to make sure that you are aware about our channel and our project. So thank you very much, Alona.
Thank you, Inga. It was really nice discussing it with you. And it seems like you understand a lot about the subject, because this amazing project that you are running is really for the support of all the women in the world. Yeah.
Yes, I wanted to say it's like that's why I wanted to be worldwide, like I want Alona, I don't need to go to Greece. I want to book her and I'm booking her. It's such amazing opportunity now we are living in, You can
Yes.
access anything you want. Thank you very much, Alona, for your time again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope to see you soon in Luxembourg. Maybe I'm gonna come and we can do the podcast together.
Yes, it will be another one topic.
Yes. Yeah.
Looking forward.
Yes.